Hello, you. Welcome to Geekism and welcome back to Planquatica, our water park here in Planet Coaster 2. Today we're building, we're building a play area, a completely useless one that doesn't work at all. I mean, if you're a fan of the channel, you'll know that we love doing this sort of stuff. There's all these amazing rides and roller coasters and water slides and stuff, and I'm going to ignore all of them and build something that doesn't do anything in the game. I just really dig this sort of stuff, and one day maybe we'll see this as a DLC, like an actual system that has the guests able to interact with it. But for now, I'm happy to build one that's just scenery that the guests wander through, because I think this is a big part of water parks, and I'm a big fan of these things. Especially now I have a son. My kid absolutely adores these. We'll spend hours in them, whether them being just local splash pads that we have here that are open in the summer, or if we go to a water park and there's something a little bit more sort of developed or what have you. He loves them. He really gets into these. So I did try and make it at least slightly serviceable by actually putting a slide in here, just a regular body slide. Had lots of fun using the in-game supports here that they built. They look fantastic. I know I said that I didn't really want to have too many sort of metal structures. This one in the end actually ends up getting completely covered, or at least mostly covered by the climbing frame structure around it, and therefore I think it actually works pretty well. So yeah, like a lot of the stuff, we're going to try and really build it into the terrain, or at least make it look as if it's built into terrain, or at least hide the lift hills and hide all that sort of stuff as best we can. And here, like I say, it kind of gets lost in the structures that we build in a moment. Thank you to all the incredible feedback from the first two episodes. They're some of the best performing videos we've ever had on the channel. I know it is in part just because a lot of you are waiting to play the game. At the time of recording, it comes out in about 3 days, I think. So I'm glad that I can help sort of fill the quota for you while you wait. Please, I hope you stick around once you get hold of it yourself and keep watching. That'd be awesome. I know I'm a big fan of watching stuff while I play myself. I often have stuff going on, so I hope you folks do as well. And if you're new here, welcome. We've got lots more plans for the game, starting off with this water park, just to kind of figure out the mechanics of Planet Coaster 2, because it's a little different to Planet Coaster 1. I think a lot of people's issues with the game are that it is a little bit different, and that's okay. It's a sequel. We're going to have to figure out a lot of this stuff again. Don't get me wrong, there are some issues in the game. One of them being people don't ride the water slides. They won't do it. I've not seen a single person go down this one that I built here. It has a fairly decent prestige, I guess. It has no queue. It's free to ride if they care about the money. If you click it, it says that people are thinking that they want to ride it, but they don't. They don't follow through. So again, I'm sure it's a bug. Well, I know it's a bug. I look forward to seeing a fix, because it'd be nice to see them ride them. They get in the pools. They wonder about the pools. They get in the lazy river. They have started getting in the lazy river now and really sort of pottering about it, especially. It looks really great when they purchase the rubber rings and use those as well. But you'll see them there in the background. You can see them pottering about. A lot of people in the last episode mentioned that there are jets used to make people move around the lazy rivers. I'm sorry if I didn't make it clear. The jets are there. I used the jets to make the lazy river. Sorry if that was unclear in the last episode. Yeah, they're there. They still just didn't like getting in off of the beach entrance, unfortunately. But now it's just regular sort of drop-in entrances. They're loving it. They potter about it. Occasionally they still do swim a little, but I don't mind that. I don't mind the occasional person having a swim. But for the most part, they kind of float around. It's pretty good, actually. It looks pretty good. So here then we're building a sort of play structure, a climbing structure that leads up to that slide that we built there. It is completely superfluous. None of this works. Okay, so please don't get excited that this is a feature you didn't know about. This is all just for show. It just looks cool, honestly. We do a lot of this sort of stuff. We've built play areas in Planet Coaster 1. We will build midway a lot, midway games that don't actually do anything. We often use the Ruble Trillion's awesome midway games. This is just something I like to do because for me, this game is a diorama game. I'm playing this to replicate the look of a theme park, or in this case a water park. And whilst I do enjoy the guests doing stuff, like that is important to me, the sort of kinetic nature of having the guests potter about and interact with stuff, some things they won't, and that's okay. And to be honest with you, this actually looks pretty good once it's all built, because they do just get in the pool and potter about, and if you kind of don't look at it too hard and don't notice that they're clipping through all of this and actually not, using any of it, it looks pretty good. It's full and there are people hanging around, and it is actually pretty good, and people use the sunbeds that we place around the outside of it, and it's nice. There's a real sort of kinetic feel, and people are just moving around the park and using it, and it is good fun. I just wish they would use the slides. I just don't get it. I hope that gets patched out as nice and swiftly, because at the moment it's it perhaps feels a little ironic that I'm complaining that they won't use the slides when I'm building something I know they won't use. but yeah, in fact, I forgot about this. I'm now going to build a fake slide. So for some of you who play Planet Coaster 1 might know, some of us built water parks in Planet Coaster 1. It wasn't something I really did, although I did take a good look at, I'm pretty sure it was Ollie43 who made them, these amazing TMTK water slide pieces that you could use, but before those came along, a lot of people would just use art shapes like this, and still kind of holds up, I guess. It's it doesn't look anywhere near as good as the ones that we now have in the game, and again, once they work, it'll be even better. But I just really wanted a couple of real little kiddie slides, the sort that don't even have a staff member attached to them. It's just the sort of thing that as a kid you can just come and there's always just waters flowing, and you can come down these. There's a good one of these at Typhoon Lagoon called Ketchakiddy Creek, I think it's called, which is like this kind of area. And there's also a really good one. Oh, where did we go? Aquatica has a good one of these, I think, as well. They're just a real standard thing in water parks, and I really would love to see them come to the game as like an actual physical thing we can build. I can imagine maybe like a block system, similar to how the shops work. This block is a rope net. This block is a platform. This block is I don't know, whatever you'd call this, spongy thing or whatever, and they all sort of click together, and then guests can work them way through it, and they are relatively unthemed, but then you can come in, kind of like what I'm doing here, and sort of theming the edges of them. I don't know, I think it would be pretty neat. As far as the believability of this one I built here goes, it's probably a little tall. I kind of have to take it up to that slide there for the slide to really work in the area, so it might be a little tall, but there are some of these out there that do get up there, and I've done my best to kind of keep this one as safe as possible. There's fencing around everywhere, and you can't really get out of the system once you're in it unless you're on the ground floor. That was kind of the idea behind this one, but it's maybe not quite as realistic as it could be. I did a little bit of research on this, but honestly I just kind of threw down stuff that I felt would look right, and had a lot of fun again with tiki pieces, and also some of the aquatic pieces that you're seeing trickle in here as well, because one thing I love about these when I've visited them in real life is a lot of them will have a lot of pipe work around, sort of bare open pipe work that is not only providing water to some of the systems, they also sort of purposefully leak and just have little water spraying around the place as well for kids to run through, and I always think it's a really interesting design to have the sort of mix of the more natural materials of the resort tiki feel here with the wood and the rope, paired with the metallic of the aquatic area. And I've kept the basic aquatic colours here. I've coloured everything else sort of greens and browns to try to make it look a little bit jungly and a little bit foresty, but I've kind of kept the what I think is yellow here for the aquatic themes, and yeah, just had a lot of fun building with them and playing with them. There's these awesome periscope pieces here. I've tried to make them look a little bit like the sort of water spouts that kids can get up there and move them around and spray water down onto their parents or onto other kids or what have you. Yeah, a lot of fun to build this one here. And then the other ones I've been to these recently, they often have a lot of valves, I guess you would call them, and you can actually sort of open them and close them, and certain areas of water will then spray out, and so it's just really good fun to use some of these aquatic pieces. I don't know whether I can't see myself building like an aquatic area of a park, using just this sort of piping. But I think here it just works quite well alongside the resort theming to bring in a little bit of dynamicism and kinetic energy into the area with the water spraying around the place. I'm getting a little better at learning where the pieces are right now. The muscle memory has not kicked in for these water pieces yet. I'm constantly having to go through them. I don't know how they could be shown better in the menu, to be honest with you, unless they were just named, I guess. But the fact that they're all just this little shape, and you've got to go through and find which one's the fountain and which one's the waterfall. Yeah, it takes a little while to figure out what they're doing. All right, next up then, my favourite bit of this build. We've made a barrel. People who know these things will know that this is another standard thing here, where the barrel fills up, and once it's filled, every 20 minutes or so perhaps, or maybe a little more often, it tips up and sprays loads of water everywhere. Again, would just adore this in the game, actually sort of affecting the guests in any way. But here we're going to kind of replicate it using the awesome new animatronic attachment pieces. I can't remember what they're actually called off the top of my head, but like pieces that you can attach things to and have them move. We're using the cylindrical one there. You can just see it there. It's now hiding behind some pipe, but there you go. You can actually set it to just do a quarter turn. So we're just having it do a quarter turn, and then we're going to set it to an event sequencer in a moment, and have it so that every hour, I think you can set it so that every game hour it tips up, and then we'll add a lot of water special effects to it as well, to kind of replicate water sort of trickling down that sloped roof there onto people. Just a lot of fun to build. Looks really great in the park once it's up and running, to be honest with you. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun building this, and sort of figuring out these aquatic pieces, these pipes, placing them all around. So yeah, really good fun to build, even though it doesn't really do anything. And but as you can see, as the more and more scenery that gets put down here, the more and more guests come over to it. They really do care about scenery in pools. And just as much as they would with scenery on rides as well, I guess. But yeah, so the more and more scenery that goes down, the more there you go. You can see now it's pretty full of people just pottering about. And like I say, they clip through all of this. It doesn't fuss me, honestly. In the actual real time, you notice it a lot here because of the speed of the time lapse. But actually, in the real time of the game, you don't really notice so much that they're sort of clipping through. Regarding time-lapse, most people are fairly happy with it, I believe, although we have had a couple of comments just say that they're not a huge fan of it. Some people even saying that it causes them to feel a little unwell. I'm really sorry. I always used to do time-lapses. I have started to move away from them in other content, but for whilst I'm not trying to sort of churn stuff out here, you know, I'm a YouTuber. Everyone's watching Planet Coaster 2 right now. I'm trying my best to get some stuff out and making hay while the sun shines. This sort of speed of video won't keep up, and once it sort of slows down and settles down into series, like a proper series, once everyone's playing the game, not only will the videos coming out slow down, but also the style of video will probably slow down as well. But as it stands, if I'm just trying to get some stuff out and kind of ride the wave a little bit, I won't lie, that's what I'm doing. I'm riding the wave a little bit. Those time lapses here are not only the easiest way for me to do content. For me personally, I quite enjoy this. I quite enjoy sort of having a ramble over some footage, to be honest with you. I spot stuff that I maybe didn't notice at the time, or I see things that remind me of to talk about and what have you. And overall, this is, for me personally, a nice way to generate content, although I do know a lot of people now prefer the sort of update clips where we go through, or even just some real-time bits as well. And as you probably saw with the last episodes of Pinewood Hills and also with Arch Park that we were both doing before Planet Coaster 2, I am leaning into that more sort of curated edit style, which I will be going back to as soon as as soon as the new hotness has wore off. You see me briefly looking at the event thing here, just to get all of those water effects going. I will show you this now in a real-time section so you can have actually good look at it and see what it looks like. Alright, we haven't done a real-time section yet. We haven't done a peep view section yet as well, so let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Here's our rings and things and ice cream dreams. Looking forward to filling this area out. Might do that in next episode actually. Might do a bit more of this sort of market area. And then here, where all this is raised, this will all get locked in. This will be a bridge. We'll sort of make this look like a nicer wooden bridge across here, along with the other ones as well. But then here, this will all be sort of boxed in and foliaged basically as we come down here. Oh, he's looking a little bit worse for wear. But look at this. Look, people are using the lazy river and it's working. And there are the squirty things. What are they called? The jets, I guess. The game places them for you when you can select them as an option when you're putting the lazy river in. It'll do it for you. So yeah, there you go. People are using look at that. They're using it. It's working. So some people will still swim. This lady here's had enough. She wants to get out. But a lot of people will now get their rubber ring and have a float about. Look at the boys here. Look, boys on tour. I'm going to float around their rings. It's awesome. It's working great. Okay, so we come over here now, and then we have our beautiful... Oh, look at that. I haven't actually looked at this from Peep View. I should more, honestly. I don't do it enough looking at Peep View. But look, we've placed down around the outside lots of benches. Yeah, Lilo, what are they called? I don't know. Sun lounges, I guess. And then we come in to the area here, and like I said, that's maybe just a shy tall. I think that level's probably okay, but the rope ladder's maybe a little tall, but it is what it is. It's actually quite nice. We've got a little area here. This was originally just path area, but I thought you wouldn't probably have an entrance to the pool right where the ride kicks out, so we just took the path away from the pool a little and built it in with some stone and foliage. I think that looks really good. And then here we go. We have our bucket. It's a little quick. We are slightly limited by the systems we've got now, but I actually, that looks pretty good. You know, it definitely reads right in my opinion. I did originally try and build the bucket by hand using planks just to try and get it a bit wider, but he wasn't really doing it. And that's a perfectly acceptable bucket, so we'll just use that, right? And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. We've got the bamboo shoots there with some water coming out, and just lots of spots where kids can run in and get soaked. You know, all these bits up the top squirting out from the pipes. We have these little runs that we can come through here, and then we've got little spots. Oh my god, it totally looked like he was going to go walk up that then. I don't. Can I do it, or do I clip through as well? No, even I clip through. There we go. Here's our little slide here that's reads as a little slide in the background. I think I think this looks really good fun, to be honest with you. I'm really happy with how this has come out, and I've just spammed the scenery brush around the back there to box all of this in for for this, basically, for this little walk around for thumbnails and what have you. But we'll probably empty that out and do it a little bit more sort of purposefully later on. But for now, at least, it just gives a nice backdrop to this. I think that looks great. I'm really happy with it. Thank you so much for watching. Next episode of Planet Coaster 2 is actually going to be a look at how to replicate the original themes from Planet Coaster 1 in Planet Coaster 2, because I know a lot of people have been asking about that. So in between working on this, I've been curating little vignettes of pirates and western and what have you. So we're going to be taking a look at that tomorrow, and then after that we'll be back into Planquatica for some more slides and yeah, probably that market area, I think. There we go. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next one, be good.